Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and today we are playing Budget Tron. And what do I think about this opening hand? We have Terrarion, we don't have any of our combo pieces, we are going to mulligan. It's not a terrible hand, but it's not amazing. And this is keepable. We have Sylvan Scrying, we can keep this. Let's see what's on top. Bane of Bala Ged. I think I would rather put that on the bottom because we definitely need to get Tron before we're ever going to cast that, and we're playing a mirror match. Neat. Okay, well, that's something to keep in mind. And it is our turn. So, Tower, Sphere, go? And we'll see what our opponent does. So our opponent clearly is not playing the budget version of this. He's playing an Eldrazi Temple, which means he is not going to be getting out Tron on turn 3, very likely. Thanks. My computer's telling me I should free up some storage space in my virtual storage machine, which I probably actually need to do. A second Eldrazi Temple. That's curious. Maybe I could be wrong that we're not playing against Tron. It is completely possible. We, on the other hand, will play our Sylvan Scrying right away here. Oops, cancel. I actually might as well save this for the green mana. Should I? No. No, I shouldn't. I have no reason to actually save this. I have green mana, sure, but there's no reason to not play it. Ooh. No, Sylvan Scrying for the next piece of Tron. Yeah, Sylvan Scrying for the next piece of Tron is probably a better bet than Exploration Map. Yeah, Sylvan Scrying. Just trying to think whether it's better to play my extra forest and draw a card and hopefully get something good and maybe getting another 1-drop. And what is our opponent playing? He is playing his exploration map. No worries. And we have a tower already, so let's grab a mine because it's either mine or power plant. Those are our only two real options. And we will ship the turn. And what is our opponent doing? So he fetched up. I totally forgot to look at what he was fetching up because I was slowly panicking that I was on turn 3. So let's see what our opponent is playing. My initial reaction is Tron because Eldrazi Temple is popular in Tron, but it could just be straight up Eldrazi. Maybe it is just straight up Eldrazi. I apologize. I actually don't feel like I know what I'm playing against here. Kind of weird. So we're waiting for our opponent to do something. And it is our turn, and we drew another tower, which is not terrible, but it's not actually what we want. So we can kick out our mine, and we have two options. We can either Ancestral Stirring, take a look at the top 5 cards of our deck, and hopefully we'll get something that's worth playing. Yeah, let's do that. Obviously I already played my mine, but that's okay. So we're going to take a look at the top 5 cards of our deck, and hopefully find something of use in there. Waiting for our opponent, and we do have a power plant. Let's take that. Hit OK, and unfortunately, and these can go back in whatever order. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to play it this turn because we need an additional green mana. But we can play at least our Chromatic Sphere, and then next turn we can play it. We can play Explore, and we'll play both of them. So next turn we'll have Tron, and we'll probably play Myr Battlesphere next turn as well. So it's okay. So we're one turn behind on our master plan, which is actually really surprising. Usually Tron is very consistent. That turn 3, I would say, like, for this deck specifically, probably 60 to 70% of the time we can have Tron on turn 3. There's so many different ways of us getting it, but it doesn't always happen that way. And our opponent is going to... That is good for us, because he is killing the one piece that we have a redundant amount in our hand, which I am very grateful for. He's obviously killing it. It's kind of like the best bet, usually, to kill the tower, because it produces 3 mana. And we also got our own World Breaker. So, let's see. Let's play our Explore right now. And we'll see what we draw before we start playing lands. We drew another forest, so we have a ton of land. And unfortunately, we're not going to actually be able to play... Oops. We're not actually going to be able to play any of our big, awesome creatures this turn, which kind of sucks. What else can we do? We have 5 open mana. I think that is going to be it. We might as well... Actually, you know what we can do? This isn't necessarily the best idea. Because we have green mana, there's no point in actually kicking around the Chromatic Star. So we may as well crack it right now and draw a card. So hopefully, and another power plant, which is cool. And unfortunately, we're just going to ship our turn. I was hoping to draw into any of our artifacts, or like more spheres or stars or anything like that. And then just get a little bit more stuff onto the table. Ideally, just milling our deck through and finding more value rather than just sitting on stuff that we're not going to need. So our opponent is Ancestral Stirrings again. He will probably play another... Oh, Ghost Quarters. Ugh. So our opponent has all of the hate for our deck right now. It's very annoying. Yep. We will go fetch up a land. Yes, I would like to fetch a land with Ghost Quarters. Thank you. And I drew a Steel Hellkite because it is our turn. Well then, what do we do here? We're gonna slowly die here from a variety of things. Actually, kick open my graveyard because our opponent's gonna start making us mill stuff right away here. So we might as well play our power plant, and we need to ship the turn, unfortunately. Next turn, though, we can play our Steel Hellkite, which will help us out quite a bit, because we'll play Steel Hellkite next turn. Assuming nothing bad happens to it, we'll actually swing in and we'll actually be able to exile his World Breaker the turn after, because we'll have 7 mana at that point. The one upside about having a ton of land in this deck, or having a ton of land in our hand right now, I should say, Nahiri, that's going to make our life a lot more difficult. Yeah, okay. So he exiled our graveyard. You discard a card. If you do, discard a card. Sure, that's not directed at us. That's directed at our opponent. Which is totally fine. Totally fine by me. I think their opponent's going to swing into our face for 5 damage. So we are slowly losing this battle. If we could have played Myr Battlesphere, that'd be rad. So our options are... What does her other ability do? Exile target enchantment, tapped artifact, or tapped creature. Okay, so our 2 options are either play Steel Hellkite or play Perilous Vault, and our playing Perilous Vault is actually going to be a better bet for us, because we obviously won't be able to trigger it off this turn, but next turn we'll actually fire it off and we'll wipe World Breaker, Nahiri, and something else. And Nahiri can't destroy it because it needs to be a tapped artifact. So this is kind of an interesting build they have going on here. So it's... Obviously we haven't seen very much, but it's very kind of like a Tron shell without Tron in it. I'm assuming it's largely just an Eldrazi build. I mean, Ulabog being in the deck is kind of shows that it's kind of an Eldrazi build, and at this point I think we just need to concede. I don't think there's any way for us to win at this point. We'll see what we draw, but I'm guaranteeing you that we are about to die. It's okay, it's okay. We will find something else to play in our sideboard, something that'll hopefully hate on some of this land that he has going on here. That's his Eldrazi Temple specifically. And what do we draw? Do we draw anything that's going to help us out? That is not going to help us out. So okay, so we're going to concede this match, or this game I should say, and then we are going to side in some stuff to hopefully deal with this deck. So obviously siding in 3 Crumble the Dusts, which I just put in here, because this deck that we're playing against relies on special lands. I don't see them relying on Graveyard. We're not seeing small creatures. Nature's Claim may be a good option, so I'm going to throw 2 of them in. Because... And... Do I want to throw a Fog in? No, I think I'd rather focus on rushing our opponent rather than... I think we can lose 2 Myr Battlespheres. We don't necessarily need to go wide. We can go wide to win, but I think going wide is not going to be the best bet for us in this exact case. Explore is going to be fine. We need to find 3 other cards to pull out, though. So let's pull out 1 Explorer. Actually, we can probably pull out both 2 Explorers. I don't think we need both of them. And 1 more card. Ancestral Stirrings, I think, is the weaker choice. Is it the weaker choice? Yeah, not really. It's still a really good card. It's kind of hard to pull out of the deck. This one thing about Tron is, like, for the most part, its entire sideboard, its entire deck is so well built, it's hard to kind of take stuff out and keep all the value. You're kind of slowing your combo down in exchange for being able to deal with your opponent's deck. And we would like to play first because we lost last game and we would like to try and win this one. Can we keep this opening hand? The mountain's not a bad idea if we draw into any of our... Well, we have Crumble Dust right there. I think we will keep this hand, actually. Not necessarily the best hand for digging up stuff, but it is going to be really handy to hopefully crumble the dust something on his, in his board. Ideally his Eldrazi temples if he plays them. And our turn, we will play... Oh, we're waiting for our opponent. Okay, going to our second main phase, where we will play Urza's Mine. And then an expedition map. And ship it to our opponent. There's his Eldrazi temple. Obviously his ideal first turn play, which... With Explore, if we draw... Depending on how this goes, if we draw a second land, we may... Ooh, I think what we're going to do is we're going to Forest... Yeah, so we're going to go this way. We are going to Explore. Play Explore. Play a second land. That's exciting. So we might as well play our Urza's Tower, and then we'll play a Chromatic Star with that extra mana. Ship it to our opponent's turn, and then next turn we will play our Mountain, Crumble the Dust, and blow away probably one of his Eldrazi temples. Oh, look, he only did that. Ooh, we have a power plant as well. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. So we will, at this point... we're going to Chromatic Star for red, and then we are going to Crumble to Dust. Oh, yes. Draw a card first, see what we get. Myr Battlesphere, that's rad. We will play Crumble to Dust, choosing his Eldrazi temple, and then we got to pay for this guy. We might as well pay... Am I going to be able to play either one of these guys here? I need to pay, so I am not going to be able, so... May as well... Oh, that's fine. So play Crumble to Dust, targeting Eldrazi Temple, and our opponent scoops? Wow, okay. I guess he didn't see that coming. I guess he needs those to win. Okay, we'll go back to our sideboard, and that was kind of unexpected. Let's just run it back the way it is, I guess. That was super unexpected. I didn't realize our opponent would just be like, nope, definitely can't win this game without Eldrazi Temple. Our opponent will, and what do we think of this hand? I think we will keep this hand. It's not as fast as our last one, so I'm assuming he probably is going to have an Eldrazi Temple again. He mulled down to 5, and I'm assuming solely to keep that. So he just played a forest. Maybe he has just a really bad opening hand, actually. So we can play our tower. Oh, that was a wrong play. Oops. My bad, I'm sorry guys. That was a wrong play. I should have played the forest, because we could have nature claimed instant speed, whatever he plays down artifacts-wise. Rather than us having to do it on our turn. Which is, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely not the most efficient play. I'd rather be on the offensive rather than the defensive here. Unless he's playing a Sylvan Scrying. So, okay, it worked out okay. He didn't actually play what we thought he would play, which is fine for us. It could have been better if we had different circumstances. Now we might as well play our forest. What do we think? Play our forest, or should we just crack our... Yeah, I kind of want to crack this just to draw. Yeah. Let's crack for green. And we will draw a Hellkite. That's not really what we wanted. We were hoping for another one of our one-drop artifacts, or ideally... I was hoping actually really for an Explorer, which we didn't get, but we will play a forest, ship it to our opponent's turn, and we'll see, yeah, I know, and we'll see what our opponent does. Okay, our opponent just passes it back to us, plays an Eldrazi Temple, passes it back to us, so I think we will play our tower and literally just pass the turn. This is really slow for us. Usually we are way faster than this. Obviously we didn't get anything in our opening hand that allowed us to accelerate, but we kept it largely because we had Crumble to Dust, because I don't think I can outrace this deck usually. Or I might be able to outrace this deck, but it's better for us to play it conservative and then Crumble to Dust his Eldrazi Temple. Assuming he... I don't know. I'm not going to assume anything, actually. I'm not really sure what our opponent's doing right now. He looks like he's actually having a really slow opening hand as well. But we will we're going to see if he scoops again. I have a hunch that he might just scoop again if we crumble to dust his Eldrazi Temple. Let's find out. So, Crumble to Dust, which means, yep, our opponent scoops the match. So, Crumble to Dust is actually not a very good card, but in our budget deck, it does exactly what we want it to do. It exiles an uncommon land, and then we get to search our opponent's library and hand for any cards that are also the same thing. So, kill the Eldrazi Temple, we get to search his entire deck and remove all other Eldrazi Temples, which is fantastic for us. And they actually get exiled, they don't get put into the graveyard, so there's no way of getting them back, period. So anyways, this has been Giant Monster Games. I hope you guys enjoyed Tron, Budget Tron vs. Eldrazi. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe to Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and don't forget to game like a giant monster.